Okay, so anyway, I wanted to watch this video real quick. From one of my favorite creators ever, LARANITY. Why is everyone playing Guild Wars 2 again? Let's make sure that the audio sounds okay before we start this adventure.
Something is going on with Guild Wars 2.
Is that sounding okay, guys? Is it fine? Can we proceed? Or do we have echo? Do we have any kind of problem that I need to know about? Sound good. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so this is the LARANITY video. Why is everyone playing Guild Wars 2 again?
Something is going on with Guild Wars 2. Visions of Eternity is coming out next month, and like usual with an expansion launch, there is a lot of hype. But this time, something is different. During a recent beta event, Guild Wars 2 even hit an all-time record on Steam. There were more people playing on Steam than during the past two expansion launches. And this expansion isn't even out yet. So what's going on? Why is everyone suddenly playing Guild Wars 2 again? And if you are not playing Guild Wars 2 yet and you're having FOMO, is this maybe the right time to give the game a shot? Hey there, my name is LARANITY and I make Guild Wars 2 content for a living. Today we're talking about why everyone seems to be playing Guild Wars 2 again.
Okay, but let me just first say, I mean, she's played a pretty big part in that, I think. I mean, a lot of people are playing because of videos that she made that made the game really accessible and like easy to understand and stuff.
So what exactly is going on? Why is everyone playing again? Well, of course, next month there is a new expansion coming out, Visions of Eternity. And this time around, it feels like there is a lot more expansion hype than usual. And then just the other day, there was a pretty mind-blowing surprise patch. In this patch, they finally added auto matchmaking for easy fractals.
Yeah!
And they also added a new PvP game mode. So yeah, there's...
Wait, they also added a PvP. I didn't hear about that other thing. But because that's not something I would normally do. But yeah, we've been doing the fractal event for the new players where it's just like a quick play dungeons is what it feels like. There's a small echo. Oh my god. Okay. What I'll do is I'm actually not sure how I can fix this. Maybe if I sit back further, then it will be okay. Okay, I think I know how I can fix it for now. Yeah. What I was going to say was that we were doing the quick play fractal dungeons, and it's been really nice as a new player who's like, I've been kind of intimidated by the idea of fractals. I think the quick play thing has made it feel like, okay, this is a feature that I'm familiar with. This is something that I kind of understand from other MMOs. Like everybody should have some familiarity with like spamming dungeons. And it's been pretty easy to just go through those with guildies. And we're gonna be doing that today, actually, after I finish watching this video. And it's been rewarding. You're gonna be able to get, I've heard you get the legendary gloves. And apparently that's not very common for them to just have legendary gloves you can easily pick up from an event like this. So it's been fantastic. It seems like they've been doing a lot of the right things to make the game more appealing for new players. So a lot of the work they're doing is paying off, I think. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'll just mute myself while the video is playing because I think it might be bleed from the headphones.
There's currently a lot of stuff to be excited about in Guild Wars 2. In last month's beta event, Guild Wars 2 even hit an all-time high for concurrent players on Steam.
Crap, I've been muted. That's why I don't normally do that. God, I instantly forgot I muted myself. Literally. What I was gonna say is, I actually didn't know that the game was doing so well. I'd see that so many people are playing right now. That's fantastic. I mean, I'm glad because I've definitely got the impression that this is a game I've been snoozing on for like a decade at this point, and I guess finally the word is the cat's out of the bag. Char's out the bag. That game good. Okay.
Now, you might look at these numbers and say, wow, Lara, 10k concurrent players? That's not even that much. And you would be correct. But here's the thing, Guild Wars 2 only came to Steam a couple years ago. For the first 10 years of the game's life, it wasn't on Steam at all. So these 10k concurrent players on Steam are only a pretty small part of the actual player base. I actually did a poll on my Twitch stream the other day, and in that poll, only 17% of players played on Steam. So if you extrapolate that 10k Steam players, that would mean almost 60k concurrent total players.
Yeah, I'm not playing on Steam, so I wonder what the actual data is, but usually you can extrapolate those patterns pretty well and guess that, yeah, lots of people are coming to the game now.
Not bad for an MMO that's 13 years old. Of course, that is not super scientific, but I do think we can safely say that the game is doing really well right now. So what is different about this expansion compared to the last two? In 2023, Guild Wars 2 switched to a new expansion format. Instead of having an expansion every 2 to 4 years, there would now be a new expansion every single year. These expansions are a little bit smaller, but they are also cheaper and the patches are included. The new expansion.
How long ago did they change to doing it that way? In 2023, they started doing expansions every year. And so I think this is something that all the major MMOs are shifting towards besides FF14. Like having that more frequent expansion content. I know that Elder Scrolls Online did it. Guild Wars 2's done it, and I really, I would hope 14 would do it, but I seriously doubt that they will. But I do think having that more consistent content, even if it's not as much all at once, is a better play. Because it's like we live in this social media landscape now where a lot of the game's hype can draw off of the hype that happens online and happens in social media. And if you don't have content coming out for a long time, then you're not going to be in the news cycle when you need to be. That's why, like, with World of Warcraft, even in times when the game was doing quite poorly, they still were, like, as horrible as it was, they were still in the news cycle for horrible things. They say, you know, bad press is better than no PR, right? Now, obviously, you would rather just have good PR because you're putting out content consistently, but there's a grain of truth to the idea that keeping your game in the public consciousness is one of the, it's become maybe more than ever, more important than it's ever been.
Expansions are a little bit smaller, but they are also cheaper and the patches are included. The new expansion format has definitely been a little bit controversial. It's really nice getting an expansion so regularly, but it did feel like the scope of these expansions was maybe a bit too small to do the really exciting features like past expansions. And one of those really exciting features was elite specializations. Elite specializations are basically subclasses for the existing classes. The first 3 larger expansions each added one of those. A ranger can, for example, become a druid with Heart of Thorns, a soul beast with Path of Fire, or an untamed with End of Dragons. These elite specializations can really change up the way your class plays, and they were a big selling point for those older expansions. When the game switched to these smaller yearly expansions, they stopped releasing those subclasses. Instead, the developers gave each class new weapon choices, and some of those were pretty awesome. I loved the spear weapons added by Jennifer Waltz, but still, it wasn't quite the same as getting a whole new elite specialization, and we were all sad and disappointed. Until we weren't! This summer, Guild Wars 2 suddenly started teasing new specializations again. We first just got some logos and some pieces of concept art, but wow, the hype train really got going. Lots of—
Okay, so when was the last time you had elite specializations before this this upcoming expansion? Because I thought that they were being added every time. 2022. Okay, I actually didn't know that. So that's a big reason there's a lot of hype. Wow. And there's so many all at once as well. I felt like I really felt like it was a ton. Because I've tested the, Bunny Mancy. I've called it Bunny Mancy so much I'm forgetting what the actual name is. I think it's Evoker. And it seems like a completely different class. Obviously, it's almost as different. I guess you could say it's like specs in WoW, but too many elite specs is a balancing nightmare. Do you think they're going to struggle to balance with all these elites? Because it seems like a ton they're adding. May I share a video about the new elite specs? You can put it in rat content suggestions and we can consider watching it, but it's not a guarantee that I'll watch something that's put in that channel. It's just for consideration. Elite specs is a very hefty thing to pull off in 1 year, and that's why they hadn't done it, especially 9 of them at once. I guess that they were just working on all these behind the scenes since 2022. I don't know. How long have they been working on this? Because, obviously that's not all that's going to be in Visions of Eternity. They're always OP or underpowered for like a month, and then it gets balanced. Is there anything that's like still super, super unbalanced?
Of players who skipped the last couple expansions suddenly got interested again. Because, well, new specializations, that changed.
Man, I keep forgetting that I've muted myself. This is rough. We are going to fix our audio stuff this weekend. I hope, God. I just want to say that Gale Shot was really awesome, and I loved that. And so that's another one that I want to play besides Bunny Mancy, of course. Mirage? Might be better to hold off until they have all 9, though, rather than doing like 3 each time. I think it would lead to Salt. Oh, yeah, maybe that's why. That actually makes a lot of sense. That it was better to hold off, so that way everybody feels like their main gets something. Yeah, that does check out.
Changes the whole game very significantly. And the rest of the expansion is looking pretty good too. We will be exploring a tropical magical island. There will be a reworked skimmer mount, new legendaries to go for, and a new homestead map. A bunch of long requested quality of life features also got announced for the patches. We are finally getting fashion templates, and there will also be a more accessible reworked raiding format. But I really think that the big selling point for this expansion is the new elite specializations. And that is why there's a lot more hype this time. We recently actually got to try the new elite specializations in that beta event I mentioned. And while some of those were extremely awesome, gives us crazy buffs, and then we press this at the same time. Whoa, you go like, yeah, oh my god. Okay. There were also some that received more criticism. I really hope that the balance team can...
That's the secret world of Alex Mack. What is this one that got a lot of criticism? Are there any that people were super unhappy about? Which Guild Wars 2 class would get dramatic, like red? Yeah. Are there any that are like, have a stereotype around feeling like they're the main character and should be treated as such? Conduit. Thief. Conduit doesn't really have anything going for it. This is one that I personally wasn't that excited about, but it seemed to refer to lore that I haven't encountered yet. Well, we'll see how different it is. Is there going to be another beta test before the actual release of the expansion? Because, we still have... Oh, geez, there's only like a month remaining. It's lore from Guild Wars 1. Oh, okay. Players were dramatic every time elite specs were released.
Incorporate our feedback effectively and make sure that the expansion will be a blast for every class. Okay, so the next expansion is looking pretty good, but that is not all that's going on. As I'm sure lots of you know, there has been quite some dissatisfaction in some of the other enlarging MMO communities as of late. A lot of WoW and FF14 players have been complaining that their patches have been a bit formulaic. I'm sure that both of those massive MMOs will bounce back when the next expansions come out. But for now, a lot of MMO players are looking for something else to play. And this is...
Obviously, I have to chime in here and say that I'm playing, WoW, and WoW is the other main MMO that I play. I operate the new World of Warcraft YouTube channel where I'm making content for that game consistently, and it's something that I see as like kind of an anchor for me going forward, alongside Guild Wars 2. And as you know, obviously, I'm familiar with FF14. And from where I'm standing, I felt like the general reaction and feeling around the War Within, the latest World of Warcraft expansion, has been fairly positive. I personally think it's the best expansion that we've had ever. I think that this is the good times because there's just so much that's such a massive improvement from previous expansions that I feel like it makes up for some of the weaker points of War Within, which obviously isn't perfect. Far from it, but I would say the good far outweighs the bad, and I'm really happy with the state of the game right now. But obviously, FF14 is, to be blunt, I would say it's in the worst state it's ever been in all the time that I've been playing, which was since 2015. It's been, I don't want to use the word catastrophic, but because there's still a chance that things will turn around. And of course, many people do like and still play that game. And I certainly hope that things will turn for the better. That's still possible. And I still believe I have hope in my heart. But I definitely think that's probably a big reason why we have a big chunk of MMO players who are feeling a little bit lost, a little bit in search of a new MMO home right now. And that could be definitely contributing to Guild Wars 2 success in the same way that, WoW had its exodus in the Shadowlands era, and that brought a lot of people over to FF. I mean, shit, I'm a WoW refugee, really. I left World of Warcraft and Warlords of Draenor, and that's when I came to FF14. So these kinds of things happen all the time, and ideally, we want a genre space where every MMO is like all the major MMOs are doing well. That's actually the best case scenario for everybody, because then like the better each game is, the more a game can learn from another game. That's probably why I should put the dragon riding footage here, because WoW copying Guild Wars 2 homework a little bit with dragon riding is probably one of the most beloved features they've added in many years. And it's a huge improvement to the game. So you want every game to succeed and innovate so they can all improve collectively. So the rising tide can lift all boats, so to speak. Yeah. Yeah. Also, Guild Wars 2 doesn't require a sub. And I think that's big part of it as well. If you look in the comments on that LARANITY video, it's full of FF14 players saying they've switched to Guild Wars 2. Well, I would say that does make a lot of sense to me, because I think FF14 has traditionally appealed to people who felt like they could just play on their own terms, like leave whenever they want and come back whenever they want, and kind of play in more casually in that way. And Guild Wars 2 feels very chill like that as well. World of Warcraft, I would say in the past, since Dragonflight, and more so in the War Within, they started to figure out finally that that's something players want now. Like players would like a way to play the game that's just, I'll play when I feel like it, and I don't want to feel like I'm on this endless treadmill. And they started to, that's another reason why I think War Within is so good, because they started to provide that. But yeah, it's the natural ebb and flow, I guess.
MMO players are looking for something else to play. And this has just been good for the other MMOs out there. Recently, old school RuneScape has been smashing all kinds of player records, and I think Guilters 2 is similarly profiting off of this. There have been a lot of larger MMO streamers trying out Guilters 2, and the viewership in the Twitch category has actually been kinda good recently. These are streamers with massive communities, and they're reminding their viewers that Guilters 2 is very much still alive and kicking. I actually have to give a little bit of credit to ArenaNet's marketing team here. I know. Usually everybody says that Guilters 2's marketing is not great, but recently it feels like they've been doing a really good job. They have been doing a lot of Twitch drops. By the way, they're also doing Twitch drops next week, and you should totally watch my stream to get those. They've been sponsoring a lot of large streamers to try the game, and they have also greatly expanded their partner program. The game has shown up at some large events like Summer Game Fest, and while we can argue about how much impact each of those things really had individually, together it definitely seems like they've moved the needle. I also think that Guilters 2
I can absolutely confirm this, that my experience with the ArenaNet marketing team has been really, really positive. And it's because they reached out to me with a sponsored stream that I actually decided to, it was like the push I needed to give the game another shot in June. So they sponsored me for a stream, or maybe it was a couple streams. And I decided, okay, well, we're just gonna, I'll play my Mesmer maybe. I'll see how I feel about it. And I ended up playing so much longer than I was actually sponsored to play that day. I was playing like the entire freaking day, and then again the next day. And I couldn't really stop thinking about it, and I enjoyed it so much. I had such a good time, and I was like, well, crap, I had so much fun. We're gonna keep it up. Let's keep on going. And that's how this happened. That's how I've managed to kind of fall into Guild Wars 2. I feel like the more I play, the deeper and deeper I get into it. And it's really, I don't know if I would have had that like little nudge I needed to give the game another try without the marketing team reaching out and having me do that. I mean, I probably would have at some point, but it was nice that they did, because I'm a professional. I know we laugh about it, but it's true that this is my job, and so because of that, I have to organize my time and think about like what can I stream now, like what should I stream, because in the best case scenario, I want to organize my time so that I'm streaming games that I'm having fun doing, and I still want to also be able to grow the channel and do my YouTube and do all this stuff. And so having that support from the marketing team, it definitely helps when you're in a position like I am. And so yeah, I'm really happy. And they have also been doing a lot of Twitch drops lately, which helps support streamers too. And there's Twitch drops on right now, in fact. Yeah.
design philosophy is...
Oh yeah, and they invited me to the partner program. Oh my god. That's right. I'm a partner now. Yeah, that's awesome. We have the guild. It's been great. I've really been enjoying it.
Maybe resonating with a lot of burned out MMO players. Let me explain. Guilters 2 as an MMO has some key differences from the traditional MMO formula. The game was very specifically designed to fix issues the developers saw of the genre, and it's also specifically designed to respect your time. If you want my full thoughts on why I think Guilters 2 is different, you should watch my video on why you should play Guilters 2 in 2024. I know it's 2025 now, but most of that video is still very up to date. I'm actually planning to do a new one for 2026, but I'll give you the short version here. Guilters 2 does not have a gear treadmill, and they also never increase the level cap. This means that once you hit max level and obtain max stat gear, you'll never really fall behind anymore. If you take a break from the game, you can always just come back and jump straight back into current content. I think this really resonates with some of the WoW veterans that have been chasing gear and levels for the past 20 years. A lot of the MMO audience is getting older, and a lot of us have less and less time to play, so it's kinda nice to play an MMO where you can just have a lot of fun, even if your life is kinda busy. But of course, that doesn't mean that there are no grindy goals in Guild Wars 2, but those goals are firmly optional. Having fun in Guild Wars 2 does not require you to make the game your second job. Although, as you can see from my Twitch channel, it is possible to make it your full-time job. There is also no
Oh man, she's so great. Honestly, I think she hasn't given herself any credit so far in this video about how much of an effect that she's had in pulling people into the game and encourage people to play the game. Oh yeah, and you reminded me, chat actually voted for me to play Mesmer. That is crazy. I almost forgot about that. Now it's hard to imagine myself not playing Mesmer. But it turns out it was actually the buns knew best.
subscription fee. There's no grind.
But again, you know, I do think that in the modern WoW ecosystem, because we have things from War Within like Delves, and like we're gonna have Prey coming up. We have this open world chill casual things and just collecting things. That's now a game where I think you can approach it in a similar way if you choose to. I really wish maybe she would play. Laranity, do you want to play WoW with me? You don't have
to be competitive in PvP. There is a battle pass type system, but you can directly work on the rewards you want. And exclusive skins never go away, so there's way less FOMO. Guild Wars 2 is the perfect MMO for MMO gamers that are a little bit burned out and just want to play for fun without constantly having to play. I've been saying this for years, so I'm just really happy that more and more MMO players are finally discovering this underrated game. I'm sure that lots of the new players will eventually go back to WoW or
it's
Final
so
Fantasy,
underrated.
But that's okay. Guild Wars 2 is designed in such a way that dropping in and out is easy, so I think a lot of the newer players might just stick around long term, even if just casually. So what's next? Visions of Eternity is coming out at the end of next month, and I think it's incredibly important for ArenaNet to keep this hype train going. There is still a lot of expansion info to be revealed, and fortunately they also just shadow dropped a really exciting patch to tide people over. I already mentioned this at the start of the video, but the other day Guild Wars 2 released a quick play group finder system for the very first time. I think Guild Wars 2 is incredibly accessible, but getting into instance group content can definitely be a bit intimidating. So after years of people asking for it, the developers finally did it. When doing tier 1 fractals, you can now press the new quick play button, and the game will automatically match you with a party and drop you into an easy fractal. There are some
This is literally what we've been doing for like the past week. I think, yeah, we started it last week. This is all I've been doing. I took a little break from story even just to focus on the quick play fractals. And it's been so fun. I remember the day that they released this and we were reading the blog post and I'm like, what? So they just shadow dropped without any warning at all that they're adding this massive new feature. By the way, we're adding quick play to the game. And that was really fun. I guess it's a beta test, you know, this is like they're seeing how everything works, but that was kind of crazy to me. Made me wonder what else they have cooking behind the scenes that we don't even know about.
Amazing rewards you can get by doing this, like starter gear, gem store skins, bag expansions, and even a pair of legendary gloves. These gloves are kinda special because they make your weapons glow, and you can even customize the glow color. Fortunately, you'll be able to get these even after the event is over. These rewards are amazing, and I think that an easily accessible way to get into group content is exactly what the game has been missing. This system is a big deal, and I really hope that in the future they extend it to other types of content. One thing is for sure though, it is a great way to tide us over until Visions of Eternity comes out. And that pretty neatly brings me to the end of this video. If you're still not sure whether Guild Wars 2 is the right game for you, I highly recommend checking out some of the other videos on my channel. I also
say to that, if you're not sure if Guild Wars 2 is a game you'll like, you don't have to worry about that. Because Guild Wars 2 has a, you can play it for free as a free content that goes all the way up through Living World Season 1. Has no limits on playtime. It's very, very good. You definitely... I was shocked, really, how much content you can do for free in, in the game. Like, but by the time you get through all that stuff, you will know if you like the game or not. Like, you will definitely know. So there's no reason to not try it at all. Oh yeah, and I'm pretty sure that she did try FF14. That's why I was playfully asking if perhaps she would consider playing WoW with me too. In our community, like our guild, it's really like we're playing them all. The Bun Guild is across all kinds of games, so people kind of bounce between them together now. It's nice. Is there a link to buy expansions? Yes, now that I'm an ArenaNet partner. I have the free-to-play link if you just want to play for free, and I also have the affiliate link if you're wanting to buy the expansions. So either one of those links, depending on what you're going to do, will support the channel.
I also have a lot of useful beginner guides, so if you are diving in, I also recommend taking a look. If you have any questions, I stream Guilty Stew 5 nights a week on my Twitch channel over at twitch.tv/LARANITY, and I am always down to answer questions. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I will see you next time.
Well, I enjoyed the video as always. I don't think I've ever seen a video from her that I didn't like. She is just so great. I'm like her #1 fan.